Meeting of the Bellingham Select Board. As is our policy, we invite you to please rise for tonight's Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Looking at tonight's agenda, I would estimate that we are in for about 45 minutes, which is a far cry from the 2-hour meetings we've had of late. So this should be a pleasure. We open up tonight with a public hearing on the petition of Verizon and National Grid for plan number 308-39488 to relocate one JO pole on pole 29 Cross Street at number 25. This is in regard to the Harmony project as it continues to the intersection at Cross Street. I believe, Mr. Frazier, you're on the call to answer any questions if there are any. See him unmuted, but I don't hear him. Michael? Is there any questions that we could answer maybe to Tim or anyone else who's in the audience? And since Michael can't get connected.
Yeah, it's the pole on Cross Street where Harmony comes out onto Cross Street. So
we're at the mercy of Verizon.
Yeah, so the only question I would have for Michael is whether what is the known time frame for the work? If we can get him on the line. Yeah, well, I guess this is not gonna happen.
yeah, I wonder if the iPhone 13 Pro is him. No, I see
Yeah,
it.
there's some, but it's not here.
Yeah.
So the
No,
screen's up.
oh, he just turned his, he's trying to get it,
He's just on.
he just trying to turn it off and then turn it back on. Maybe, we can,
My thoughts on the matter is that it was vetted by the planning board. It was requested by the planning board. If there's anyone in the audience that has any questions, which I assume there are none. Any questions from the board?
No.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
close the public
Second.
hearing, first and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So entertain a motion to approve the poll numbers as outlined in the public hearing notice.
So moved.
Second.
First and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. Michael, thanks for joining us. That's one of the easy
we
ones.
can always email them if you have any specific questions.
Yeah,
Give thumbs
you
up.
get thumbs up. Appreciate it, Michael.
Oh, yeah, I just said that.
All right. So, next order of business at 7:05 is the recommendation to appoint Chris Syriac as project manager for the Department of Public Works. Jesse, Dennis, Chris.
Yeah, you got a write up for me. Chris Syriac is here this evening, and Chris has been with us for closing in on 5 years. Yeah, you can have a seat right up here. Chris has been foreman in the department, managing the crews, construction crews. And opening as we heard with Tom Degnans, as the fire. Tom served us for 6 years as project manager, and Chris would like to slide over to that position, and we think it's right in line with his experience. You see his letter of recommendation there. And Jesse, anything to add to that?
Yeah, just speaking to Chris's character, as Dennis had mentioned, Chris has been with the department for a number of years now. Everything he brings to the table as far as experience, dedication, it's in line with what we need for this position. We need somebody that's committed, provides the proper oversight. I think Chris is the right fit for the position, so I think it would be in Bellingham's best interest to have somebody that's as committed as Chris Syriac.
So as the inspector, essentially what he's inspecting are all the pipes that are going in the ground. You know, the infrastructure that's being built in these private developments that we're eventually going to take responsibility for. So it's obviously a very important position, and one that he has a lot of experience with, as well as the projects that we're doing, the replacing the water main, et cetera, be involved in that as well. But I don't know if anyone has any questions for Chris.
I have more of a statement than anything.
Sure.
I've spoken to the DPW union president. He's done nothing but speak raves about you, nothing but good. So I think you'll be a tremendous asset to the town in this
Thank you.
position.
Much appreciated. And I think it kind of goes in line with, you promote from within until you have the need, and then those positions get posted, so that's the next step down the process line. So relative to our board, is this a recommendation with our appointment or just
So
a statement?
I have made the appointment, but my appointment has to be ratified by the select board, so we require a vote by the board.
Motion to approve the appointment of Chris Sariak to the project manager for the Department of Public Works. Second.
First and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Chris, well done. Thank you for all you do for the town.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Jeff.
Thank you.
All right, next up, 7:15, Board of Assessors. Susan Silva. Welcome. We are so far ahead of schedule. We are cruising tonight. I just got off the plane a couple hours ago, I'm a little wired.
Want to be pre-code?
No. I would never do that.
Meets the purpose.
Becomes recommended by the Board of Assessors, and she's been with us since, how long have you been? Time flies.
Just 5 years and.
Just 5 years. That's a nice little tenure there, working the treasurer collector's office. And she would like to be on the Board of Assessors, so we obviously appreciate the fact that she's got an interest with that. I know the Board of Assessors are very pleased with that. It would also require, we'd like to have the Board of Assessors, I think they were designated previously, but we couldn't find the designation as special employee status, so she can serve in both.
And lateral,
positions
yeah.
and be compensated. Obviously, it's a board position, it's not, yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on the role yourself as you enter the position?
No, I mean, with Betsy and everything, I just really enjoy that kind of research and work. Though I'm very comfortable in the treasurer collectors, but to have the combination,
It's
it's really.
fantastic. The more experience you
Yeah.
have, the better, the more valuable you are to us.
Oh, well, thank you.
Seriously,
I
it's
do, I
any
really, I
important.
like, we work really well together.
They work well together now,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of sharing back and forth.
That's
which is great, yeah.
So is this 2 votes, the appointment, or is that already done? And then we have to do the special
You gotta
employee
do
status?
both, yeah.
Okay.
So the appointment is for the unexpired term, and then, she's replacing Tara that now is the assistant
Yeah.
assessor, yeah.
So when will that term end?
March of 2024, so short stint, and then
Just be
if she
part
likes
of-
it, she'll do it again, yeah.
Yeah, so I would entertain a motion to appoint Susan Silva to fill the vacant position expiring March of 2024.
So,
Second.
First and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none, 4-0. And the special employee status is simply a formality, but a requirement to allow to serve and get paid for dual roles.
So second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I wish I could get employees, special employees.
Not happening.
Well,
Thanks.
thanks very much. Next up, we are slotting in, for anyone recording or watching this recording or watching it on TV. An agenda item that was added since this posting. We have the chief and deputy for the fire department.
Oh, good evening to the board. Thank you for this opportunity for us to speak. We're not sitting here in front of you tonight with the best of information. On Friday night, there was an incident with our tower truck. I was involved in a serious accident. Fortunately, there was no personal injuries to any of our members or the public. Unfortunately, the tower sustained serious damage. The truck currently is out of service as we speak and will remain out of service until further notice. We're meeting with the insurance company tomorrow morning to have it appraised and see what our next steps are. Whether it can be fixed or if it's maybe totaled. So it's kind of where we're at now. I cannot speak too much further on it as we're still conducting an internal investigation. And until that's done, that piece has to stay between the deputy and I at this point. I can answer questions, or we can try to answer questions if you have any, so please feel free.
Chief, could you just go over the plan moving forward since the ladder is out?
Yes, so right now, we have adjusted our operations a little bit. Right now, we are with our two boxes, box 22, box 11, we're relying on mutual aid to the respective districts. So the North District will be a Medway ladder and the South District will be a one socket ladder. That's how we're operating currently to keep safety for the residents of the town of Bellingham.
So, may I? Hopefully the truck is not, the first of, it's obviously nobody got hurt. And obviously the truck is damaged significantly, as you mentioned. And so if it's not total, what if it's total? What's the timetable we're looking for? It's to replace it or to get it fixed, or what can we do? At least the residents can understand what we're dealing here with.
So I think we have three different options we need to look at. First one is if the vehicle is not totaled, if they brings it tomorrow, says it needs to be fixed, it needs to go back to the factory, which is in Pennsylvania. You're probably looking 12 to 16 months for them to repair it. I don't know if that's definitely one option. The second option, if it is totaled, we're going to try, see what the replacement value is. We're working with Dennis on that. And then we would do the same thing that we're trying to do with the current engine that was approved at the November town meeting. We're going to try to see if we can find a stock ladder truck. And that is just as difficult, if not a little bit more difficult than trying to find a stock pumper. Again, there's only X amount. They make less of the ladder trucks than they do with the stock pumpers. So we're Deputy and I are in the process now of working with the vendor to see if that's an option and how far out that is. I can follow up with you in a couple of days as soon as we know. The third option is either way, we're going to be for a period of time without a ladder truck. We need to work with Dennis and the board to see if we possibly, if I could find one, we could rent a ladder truck from a vendor at that point there. So those are the three scenarios that we're at. And again, we'll have kind of a better handle tomorrow after we meet and speak with the appraiser.
Question, so it's my understanding under our insurance policy that we have replacement insurance.
Dennis, would you?
Yeah, RC replacement costs, yep.
If we had to rent it, does it cover the rental of that?
We'll find out. I know Beth has been in touch. Beth's been going back and forth with the insurance company. I don't know. We don't have an answer.
No, we haven't got that far into
Yeah,
it.
so I don't know. I think that obviously if it's gonna be 12 to 16 months even for a repair, never mind a replacement, I think we need to find out what that would cost and take a serious look at it, because obviously we can't depend on mutual aid for a year and a half.
Right.
But it is something that we want to take a hard look
Yeah,
at.
I mean, I would just add, I would like to applaud the fact that the town has replacement and not actual cash value. And that's an investment that was made or decision made years ago.
Yeah, it was something that we worked hard to get from our insurer as opposed to the actual cash value of the vehicle, because fire trucks are so expensive.
Right.
7 or 8 years ago, we had good luck. We had a great consultant working with us, and we were able to get that designation and keep it. And one of the things I did on Saturday was come in and check the latest policy to make sure that in fact it had the RC as opposed to the ACV, and sure enough, it does have the RC for replacement cost. Which is
That's huge.
That's huge, yeah.
It's probably, I mean, it's gonna be expensive,
Is it a
So
case,
numbers
when an adjuster comes in to say it is or isn't total, that it can be disputed? Like you would maybe say a car gets so much damage.
See if I could, so double-edged sword, Michael. If he feels the vehicle can be repaired, obviously it's still gonna go back to the factory, to the manufacturer. But there's always a caveat as they start to peel the layers of the onion away.
Yep.
If there's more damage than he physically saw, then they'll reassess it at that point.
Yeah, like the wooden car.
Exactly, or he may look at it tomorrow and go, yeah, this is beyond what we can do, it's just not
And then someone's gonna take it for parts.
correct.
Yeah.
Exactly, we'll strip the equipment off of it and take it across. Currently, the ladder is in the station at the Blackstone Free Station. We still have possession of it, we will keep possession of it until we find out exactly what's going to happen with it.
Thank you. I mean, it's a tough situation, but handling it the way it was. Well done.
Thank you. I just want to reassure anybody that's listening in the board as well. We're going to continue to maintain public safety, for the residents of Bellingham. They want to get that out there dominantly.
I like what you do with the press release.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Very timely.
Okay, thank you. It's, we need to get something out. And I also extend if anybody, not that, you may want to see it, but if everybody wants to stop by from the board, Again, we're limiting it because of insurance factors. We don't know where the insurance and everything's gonna land on it. But if anybody from the board wants to stop in, please,
I'll call you more.
give me a call.
It's very, I saw it this weekend. It's very eye-opening. You know, not
Not in a
ever
good
getting
way,
on,
not in a good way.
not ever getting on top of a ladder truck. That's very interesting in its own right. But yeah, no, it's, I think if you can, it would be worthwhile to go see for yourself. The chief and the deputy took the time and, you know, they did explain, I learned that the ladder is actually bolted to the frame. And at one point, the deputy actually was able to shake the truck with his hand. And the truck was actually moving,
Yeah,
which it's not supposed to do. So it is very eye-opening. Were you able to get the black box?
We're in the process of getting the cable. The vendor is getting the cable to me, and they were going to download that data.
That, I never knew that every fire engine has a black box, like, much like an airplane.
cool, interesting.
So again, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself and with the deputy. And
Thank you.
we'll assist in any way we can.
Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Continuing, we are still ahead of schedule, which is a bonus tonight. Adopt flag policy, or I might say to reaffirm an existing flag policy that
Yeah, I mean,
in light of cultural
yeah, and
situations.
certainly if anyone has any recommendations, I talked with KP Law, I looked at sample policies that our communities have, but essentially what's happening is there are groups requesting of communities to put their flags on municipal flagpoles. And if precedent has been set where we've allowed, say, you know, right now you've got pro-Palestinian and pro-Israel, one or the other, then you've got to have the other. If it was, say, a pro-choice and a pro-life group, if you allowed one, you open Pandora's box
Yeah.
essentially. So what we'd like to do is adopt this policy, which basically limits it to which is what we do. We limit it to the brand new service.
Yeah.
POW, there's one flying POW flag is flying out in our flagpole right in front of this building now. MIA, and occasionally we'll put the state flag up, but any flagpole. So it means that, for instance, over at the town common, we have at the War Memorial, we've got the flag and then we've got the other service flags there. So
Right.
that's it. We wouldn't allow.
But we recently this year had a Pride Day, but we should not fly a Pride flag.
It will not be permitted under this policy. No other flags will be permitted other than, and you know, it cites the, you know, the appropriate sections of the law, and essentially what it's saying is that for governmental use, it's not subject to the First Amendment free speech, since we've limited as policy would.
Right.
Anyway,
So,
Yeah, no, I mean, this can go, this is more for public information. You know, this is only town-owned property.
that's correct.
Right.
Yeah,
So if you wanna fly whatever flag you wanna fly on your own property.
absolutely.
so my objection is that this policy excludes school buildings of the town of Bellingham,
Yeah, the schools would have to adopt their own policy if they so choose to do.
but
Because
they're town
Your
property.
town property.
but they do have control, and that's why it specifically
Yeah, they have
says that it
control.
excludes school buildings, because the school committee has the jurisdiction of the building.
And so, I mean, I use the high school, like we have the logo that's established and there is a
Yep.
3 flagpoles at the high school,
Mm-hmm.
that there is a US flag, state flag, and then there could be that third flag. I would like to see this forwarded on to the
Yeah.
school committee
Oh,
for
absolutely.
mutual adoption.
Yeah,
Can we do a town ordinance?
towns have done bylaws.
I think maybe we should look into doing
Towns
a
have that.
bylaw that
Yeah.
every town, there is no other flag other than.
Yeah.
you know, the
This
flag.
was the quickest way to cover
Yeah.
our bases, rather than wait for a town meeting, but there are towns that have simple bylaws that have been done, but I will get it to Mr. Morano as well,
Yeah.
but certainly.
I just think it's
That's
confusing
Probably.
if someone sees it in a school and maybe someone doesn't think through the ramifications of doing it, and then we've opened Pandora's box.
Yep,
Correct.
I'll certainly send all the information I have on to Mr. Morano.
So I would entertain a motion to adapt. Is it appropriate to say reaffirm?
No, it's a
No,
dog.
Adopt,
Yeah.
okay. Adopt the flag policy, this day, December 4th, 2023.
I'll move it.
I would add for town buildings and property into that
All,
motion.
all town buildings and property.
I'll second that.
when we say all town buildings, that means the school. So,
Well, the policy itself excludes the schools. Yeah.
okay, all right, fair enough. First, second, any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, none, for.
Yeah, you guys wanna sign it?
Yep.
And then, this is the, no, the national.
The next item on the docket is a name change for the purpose of, ABCC.
Yeah, Devlin, so she's not changing anything, except the name of her corporation, which used to be Devlin's Tavern Inc., and now she's changing it to Liz's Tavern Inc., and this is a step we need to take in order to send it to the ABCC.
We just signed on the first page of the script, Hillary.
Just sign,
Great.
yeah. just sign.
I'll second that. I'll make a motion to do that, to adopt the name change for the ABC.
First,
Second,
second. Any further discussion? Everything's in order, Hillary, right?
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Yeah.
Opposed, none, 4-0.
Sign there for Devlin.
For the telephone. Deed in lieu of foreclosure, acceptance of deed property located on Beach Street, identified in assessors map 4 as parcel 33 pursuant to the provisions of the general law, chapter 60, subsection 77C.
Yep.
He's not gonna read that stuff, right?
So this was, land that was, donated that the board accepted, and then it went to town meeting because we're accepting it in, lieu of taxes that were paid, that weren't paid.
Yeah.
And now we need to register the deed. So this is accepting the deed.
Motion to accept,
second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that'll be myself and then someone.
Yep.
Next up, vote on October abatements. Who's got those?
I'll make a motion to approve the abatements for $2,097.20.
Second.
Take your pick, yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, 4-0. Minutes, vote on November 6th, 20th, and 28th, and if I could just look at them. This is all on the tax. So,
Right. Make a motion to approve, providing no one has any questions. I read them all. I didn't have any questions on them.
No more. Second. All right.
one more thing. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, 4-0. Annual license renewals, we've been given a list of renewals to date. Which would be entered into the minutes of this meeting. Unless there's an objection, and there's a need to read them. If we could just peruse them and see if there's any individual ones that we would exclude for discussions.
And I'd like the motion to, approve when you make the motion
Yep.
to approve the, license renewals as attached. Given that all taxes have been paid and inspections have been done.
Okay.
I will hold the licenses of some of the stuff that we're still working on.
For documentation purposes, we are currently over our limits for some of the used cars, but has anyone dropped off? And how close are we to
We
the
have
limit
dropped
set
off
by
on
town
one,
meeting?
Buyer's Choice, is that the name of it? Buyer's Choice.
They were there already. Weren't they?
Excuse me?
Buyer's Choice, weren't they the ones right up here in 140?
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone.
Gone. Oh,
So we're down to like 24 now, maybe, or 23,
Town meeting allowed how many?
20.
20, we were at 29, so we've.
Yeah.
come down,
Okay,
few.
I didn't get so far.
well, that's when we went
It was
to town
down,
meeting,
yeah.
put the limits.
They were
and not allowing
grandfathered.
more.
And I don't know if you saw in my email, but we'll have to sign all the licenses.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of them. You've never done it. You've done it, right? So if you want to just make a time and come in and sit in the conference room and do it, or if you want to do it at the next meeting, whenever.
Yeah. I'll put it for next week.
Okay,
I'll swing by.
Are
okay,
you gonna leave them in the
I
conference?
can leave them, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just come in and sign them. It's just easier. That's how we always did it.
Yeah.
We have that license. I'm just looking at the one that was on Pulaski.
For which, kind of license?
The one that's been closed for a long time.
Corner of Brisson.
Way down near,
You know-
Dunkin' Donuts.
No,
The corner of Brisson.
you know, there were
Oh.
two, the corner, but there was the other one.
Belo's old place.
Yeah, Belu's old place, but then the other one.
And neither one of them have used car licenses.
All right, so we don't have to, all right, I just want, because they always had cars.
One of them was repair, that doesn't require a license.
Okay,
And the other one was long time.
Someone
Alright.
came in asking about the property that's right across from Stop and Shop Gas.
that's Pickard's.
No,
Deals on
Pickard's
Wheels.
is next, is,
Deals on Wheels,
Deals on
with that
Wheels.
sign. It was, it's a small wedge, parcel.
Right in front of Roy's, wasn't it?
Yes, and it's right next to
Yeah.
the auto parts store.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't understand.
That's pretty much a, I mean, it's a B use, but it's a very small parcel and there's no licenses, so I mean. It could be something else, I guess, if they could, maybe a flower shop or
Hot
something.
dog
like that.
stands.
Yeah.
those are popping up all over.
Yeah, those
the
seem to be
place.
doing-
Every time I turn around, somebody's got a cart someplace.
Guy, that's is unreal. Oh my
Is he
God.
good?
The sausage, pepper and onions with the hot honey. Oh, yeah.
Jack said it's the best chili dog he ever had.
I haven't been to the one at the gas station.
No.
But.
The new Bellingham gas.
So just looking at the list, two questions.
sure.
In light of the fact that we approved the liquor license for Devlin's to Liz's, should this
No,
be
we'll-
readjusted in here?
No, I'm just gonna leave it as is in here. Because we're approving it tonight. I haven't even sent it to the ABCC yet.
On a timing thing.
No,
And the other question was, Solda, Mexico.
Yep.
Had a number of violations through the ABCC.
Yep.
And was there any follow-up?
yeah, yes, they had a hearing and they had to pay a fine and they are all set now.
Um, That's all. Well, good. I would be interested in having the new chief do liquor checks that used to be done under Jerry.
Yeah, they used to do a lot of those,
Yeah.
and those are good. They really are
I mean,
good.
it's, the winter isn't the time, but at least if the chief knows we want to do them for next April and May,
Yeah, we'll ask him what the.
what his protocol and his plan is.
Absolutely.
You know,
Um,
the Dunkin'
Those were
Donuts we-
quite effective.
Yeah.
8 or 10 years ago, the Sting brought in like 5 people and they had to adopt the card readers.
Yeah.
Um,
Good idea.
Does someone verify the card readers at some point that they're still being used?
I mean, it would have to be.
I mean, for the ones that had the violations, it was mandatory that they use those card
Was it
readers.
the-
And
I
I
don't know, was it the police department that was doing it or was the select board? I don't know who was in charge of that.
Yeah, we can ask the question.
It's just, what is the protocol once it's required that they have to use?
So you
card
had them
readers?
come in and that was part of the,
They had to buy the machines
Yeah.
and they had to use them on a going forward basis.
Hmm.
This is going back to before you were here.
right,
It's been used right now.
Now you're requiring them for everybody anyway, right?
I
pretty
think they
much.
all have.
Yeah, the new ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out.
It just strikes me that, Tony Corey sold his license and, they didn't ask me for my license to read it. But yet you go to a BJ's and someone comes over and checks that you're of age in every case,
every case, yeah.
so.
Was every establishment on this for the vehicular license?
Everything?
For the licenses for the restaurants?
Yeah,
Every single one. This is everybody.
These are the ones that are paid so far. This is.
Oh, okay,
this
so
is
I'm
an
missing.
Ongoing date.
who are you
list.
missing?
Honeydew, right across the street.
Oh, Honeydew, oh yeah, 19.
Yeah,
I just got theirs today.
okay,
Yeah, I'll have a couple more in the.
okay.
Yeah, so this typically goes on for 3 meetings, 2, 3.
Yeah,
meetings.
hopefully no
I'm
longer.
just shocked we have 5 Dunkin' Donuts. I never.
I was just looking at, I said, I didn't realize we had 5 of them. Holy cow. Dunkin' Donuts, pizza and churches.
Nothing wrong with the pizza, actually.
It's just like,
Alright. So motion to approve the list in its totality and the language that Hillary previously just mentioned.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? And you'll, maybe on your next report, Dennis, you'll have something.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Old business? Any new business?
I just want to update the board. I've been, I've been talking with Dennis through, people have really been kind of going off on social media, so I've been kind of chiming in on it. In regards to the light, traffic at Man Street coming out towards South Main with multiple accidents. Depot Street, I've talked to Chief Fitzgerald and Mr. O'Connell at the planning board. So, and I talked with the traffic control officer for the police department, so he's gonna be bringing quite a few items to the new traffic committee once it forms, for the agenda. So I just wanted to update the board on that. A lot of people are, you're saying, oh, well, nobody's answering us, nobody's answering us. So I started answering. But, if you're gonna say that, don't, I know people mentioned talking to you on
Oh, yeah.
Facebook, so.
They're always like, well, we'll ask Ann if she can do it. And I'm like,
Um,
listen,
One instance I think was pretty serious. It was a video of a mother that almost got taken out on Depot Street. I did talk to Chief Fitzgerald up by Best Buy. You had tractor trailers.
yeah, those are the ones I showed Dennis. too.
Yeah, on either side of the road, and the mother almost got taken out by a box truck coming the opposite way. So what the chief said is he's gonna go to Best Buy and kind of have a little talk with them. And then he mentioned the possibility of us adopting at the town meeting an idling ordinance. We do have an idling law in Massachusetts, but if the person's behind the wheel, it's no good. So if we can get an idling ordinance where it's, and the chief recommended not a simple $100 fine, then actually like a $500 fine.
It's gonna cost more. The fine needs to be more than a hotel room.
Right, and then with, when I was talking to, I can't remember his name, the sergeant at the police department.
The traffic one?
Yes.
Chris Padula?
Yeah, Sergeant Padula, actually mentioned, making them pay for a detail officer. To have a detail officer during the hours in the morning.
Now, it's one of the problems, the fact that that they can't get into that place.
They can't get into it, but they're not supposed to stay there. There's
Right.
signs on either side of the road.
So isn't there something that we should be doing? Shouldn't Best Buy, my thought was Best Buy should be opening up that gate.
Well, they should be scheduling it better.
Yeah, or
Scheduling-
scheduling better, or
But
whatever.
we could actually make them have a detail officer, and the detail officer can kind of, you're either leaving or you're getting a ticket,
Right,
and
right,
keep the traffic going.
right. But I think some responsibility is Best Buy's too.
Well, that's why when I was talking to Sergeant Padula, he said we could actually make them pay for the officer, so it's not coming out of the town.
I don't know why they,
It's been a chronic problem. It was rectified a while ago. I know Tim spent a lot of time on it. And it started up again. I didn't realize that it started up again because it was going on a year or two ago. It was exactly what you're saying. They park on both sides, so you just have one lane down the middle. It's like a game of chicken as to who's gonna go.
Right, and then if you see the video, I mean, the mother almost got seriously injured.
videos
Yeah,
scary.
so the Chief Fitzgerald, I actually got a call as well. I know we talked about it.
Yes.
He did say he was gonna be stopping by to speak
So
with them. So
maybe
hopefully,
we should institute the detail officer just for a period of time, just.
Yeah.
Really reaffirm, because I mean, especially if we have an officer out there,
Yeah.
and the residents are complaining, they can at least see that us as a town are taking steps in the right direction towards rectifying this.
yeah, one of the things I wanna see is if in fact it's happening routinely or if it's isolated, because
Oh.
it had stopped. I had one gentleman I asked to call me every time it happened.
From what the
Was this
mother,
recently?
this
Yeah.
is last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, so it was the first I heard, well, I've only been back. a
So
short
they-
time, but you hadn't heard it. for
I
a
haven't
while.
had any complaints. I mean,
According to this mother, it's, they called the police department, and then whoever answers at the police department, are telling them that there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
So I think we need to, if we have an officer out there at the expense of Best Buy, at least gauge it. I mean, if it goes away after 2 or 3 days.
well, Lee used to police it.
That's the last.
and-
Katie Muldoon.
Yeah, Katie Muldoon's husband took a video
Yeah.
and he put it out there, and there were 3 tractor trailers just sitting in the road by Best Buy. So he had to literally hope nobody was coming because he couldn't see to go by them.
Yeah.
And he put that on Facebook. So I had said to him, listen, I'll go ask Dennis. I said, I know they're not supposed to do this. I said, they're not supposed to be in the
But
road like that.
It's not just, it's also people that I know, Darcy Hebert
Yeah,
and Stephen Goyette.
Yeah, we've seen the pictures. It used to happen at Blue Links and we really track down there, because Blue Links is right at the end of
Right.
Maple Street, it was very
Yeah.
problematic, we were able to stop that there, so we'll.
So-
As you say, you talked to the chief, I did as well, he said he was gonna visit them, so we'll find out.
Right.
But we'll follow up with the detail as well, I don't know how we would force them to pay for a detail, but I'll ask the question.
From what the sergeant said, it's the same thing as we do with having a traffic detail, with having.
Why don't we just put signs, no parking either side of the road?
I think we have
Do
them.
it.
Do you notice there are signs there?
So it was happening a lot, and Lee, between myself and Lee would go down there and tell them if you don't move the truck, I'm calling a hook right now, and they would move. I ended up getting a hold of the corporate at one time when people were complaining a lot, and they were doing it constantly. They told me that they just secured a space in Mansfield. I told you this, Dennis, back about, 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And it was gonna alleviate that problem because this is a smaller facility of theirs. And it got better for a long time, and now this is the first I heard of it.
So is
So
it simply whoever's patrolling the north sector should just go by and
That's what
be
the
ready to
chief
issue the
was,
tickets
Yeah,
on a daily basis?
we'll definitely follow up on it to make
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, it's, I kind of like the idea, like.
But I think to your point is the idling ordinance has to be just sitting in a truck. They can just-
Right, so like, Mr. O'Connell sent me the law, and yes, there is a law on the record, but the law doesn't apply if there's somebody sitting behind the wheel. And I think we have to pass basically a town ordinance saying,
can't sit there and idle.
you can't sit there, and that's what Chief Fitzgerald recommended.
the problem is, and they know the problem because they came in front of us, they had a plan to try to, they wanted to expand their parking down there. And as soon as it came in, and they called me first and started asking a bunch of questions about zoning. And when that person called me, I said, look, we'll take a look at your plan that you're proposing. I said, but you need to express to Best Buy, and they know about this, that the queue area for their guard shack is right in the front. And it doesn't allow for any queue. All the queue is on our street. I said, that doesn't work that way. So if you're thinking of coming in front of us to alter your site plan, I said, your plan is gonna have to incorporate that shack and a queue for your trucks to come in, or we're not even gonna look at it. And they never presented it.
Oh, yeah.
So, the problem is their gate is right up front, just like Georgia Pacific was probably. The
Buildings
gate-
only can fit 1.5 trucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, and that's their design. So, moving forward, we don't do that because now we know how it affects us, but fighting in the rears is tough.
I'm thinking it's, the cruising and then writing tickets, after fines, I think it will eliminate problems as well as when chief. There's a conversation with them, he needs to express that, and, they need to schedule better.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
it's not a rocket science, it's obviously. They got the whole schedule with the GPS tracking on them, so if they are coming kind of their schedule, they should be, somebody needs to communicate with the facility.
I think Mr. O'Connell said there was an issue with Walmart, when they first started cracking down, I guess the people were complaining from Walmart that the trucks were hanging out.
Oh, the trucks were always.
They're
parked
going
in-
into their parking. lot
Yeah.
They
waiting.
were.
Walmart never complains about it, and they allow it, they allow the truckers to park there.
They do, they allow them to park over like on the garden
Far right,
center
yeah.
side.
Yeah, some of them probably don't know, although a lot of trucks do park there, but, the other thing is too, if we're gonna, I think we need to take some action, maybe find Best Buy, get into the management and say, hey, look. Because what's happening is these truckers, I know from talking to Lee when he was trying to police it, they were just like,
Well, that's what,
just ignoring it.
that's what the chief was saying.
Yeah, I think, look, if, I don't know if it would work or not, but if we got out there early, whoever's on early. Like 5 o'clock in the morning, if they're sitting there, start it then, because the gates aren't opening there until probably 7. So, if they don't wanna move their truck, that gives us time to get a hook down there and say, you don't wanna move it, we're towing it. And that's what Lee would threaten, but I think it was more closer to the opening hour where they would just pull in after.
Yeah. Which is when the buses are rolling and the parents.
Probably.
Right,
Yes.
right, 7 o'clock, the buses are all.
So,
coming.
I mean, I can definitely reach out, I can reach out to the management again and see if I can get somewhere, I did save their number.
Talk with the chief,
Yeah,
just so that
okay,
you're
I
both
will.
coordinated,
Yeah. I guess it's another item that we can.
Yeah, follow up on, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be, yeah.
The only thing that I guess would be a concern is if we're responding, as whether it's responding as yourself or as representing the board.
I just kind of said.
No, I get that. So we were talking at one point with having someone at our last meeting, having more of a social media presence.
Right,
And I think that somewhere is posting things proactively, and then maybe a 24-hour cooling off period before we make a statement. That if we see those things, that someone's gotta, be it Karen or someone else, or whoever's designated. Be more saying, here's the policy, or this was discussed at this meeting.
yeah.
Because I just got the video. So I answered, because we both got a video.
Yeah,
And
Darcy,
so I said, well, let me go to, of course, my is, let me go to Dennis and talk to him, because that is dangerous, you know, and
Yeah.
I knew that they weren't supposed to do it. From years ago, they weren't supposed to do it.
yeah, I talked to Dennis and then I talked to
Yeah.
Mr. O'Connell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
So that's what happens.
Yeah.
I had another one
I
too.
mean, some of the social media posts go on 50, 60 comments.
Uh-huh,
Oh,
and-
yeah.
and
Well,
then
I sent
our
Dennis an
comments can
entire
get
thread.
buried in it.
yeah,
So,
The problem with chasing this is, these are not Best Buy trucks.
No,
These are
they're-
all
they're
common
just
carriers,
delivering.
they're coming from all over the place.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I
with
don't
it.
care,
That's
they're
what-
running into that every night of the week.
Yeah, but
that's why we-
once they get ticketed and then they go into the system, and then once they go into the system, if they don't react to it, and then it's gonna be.
They need to open their gate and let them come in.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
don't even get that
Yeah.
whole thing, why they don't open the gate. They know they've scheduled these
But,
guys.
Let
yeah.
them hire security.
Yeah, absolutely. That's at their cost.
I mean, that video was, again, was pretty eye-opening.
It
So,
was,
yeah,
it was.
I think maybe as a follow-up, that something does get posted, if you wanted that, it's been referred to the police chief for comment, and it will be addressed.
can we,
in
can we do like an official? Like a,
Statement.
yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
And that way I'll post it on.
Yeah.
My selectment page, and then
Yeah.
I'll give it to Darcy, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you can.
Well, yeah, I had already talked to Mr. Muldoon and I had said, you know, I've gone to Dennis and
Yeah,
then
get
when I went
the
back, I said,
chief
you know, he's going to.
Respond
speak
to
the
Dennis,
chief
and then
and-
we put.
Yeah,
short,
I'm in no
and then
rush.
Yeah, all right.
And Tim said he can reach out too, so if I think we should do it, I kind of like the idea, you know, it's obviously enforcing it. We give him a chance, you know, so I mean, they gotta rectify it. If they go in the 5 o'clock and the 5 to 7, obviously, you know, the buses are going and rolling all around town right after 6 o'clock.
Right,
And it's over the safety issue, that's a main concern, and I think, you know, it's maybe when Tim have a conversation with them. If they can bring it up and then just tell them, hey, listen, you need to open your gates, if you need to hire somebody, you know, you need to hire it, and they need to let the trucks in, because if not, like you said, just we got Hokumai is gone. And as simple as that, it's the safety issue.
but I think Tim's idea too, that Best
Yeah.
Buy should be responsible.
Oh, absolutely,
Best
yeah,
Buy has
yeah.
to take responsibility and open those gates for those guys to get in.
Because the driver who's ticketed now may not be back here for a month, because he's traveling back to the west
Right.
coast or
Yeah,
wherever.
I've told them before, our street is not your parking lot, it's not your queue.
Right.
Yeah, but chances are they're gonna be back in Bellingham,
Absolutely, yeah.
or somewhere in Mass. If they don't pay that ticket, it's not just Bellingham, it's,
Right, wherever, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
yeah.
Good stuff. Town administrator report.
Yeah, just a few items. The CFO is gonna be starting. Chuckman next week on a part-time basis and full-time the 1st of January, so that is moving. Mary's gonna be doing some training with her on the software, and actually Beth's arranged to have AUC, our software vendor, come in and do some personal training for her as well as the school business manager. Another one that Beth's coordinated is December 6th. We've had a few boards approach us about open meeting law questions, so PP Law will be doing a little forum. It's part of their contract where they provide these things when we want them at no additional charge. And that is scheduled for December 6th at 7 o'clock, and the Zoom link has been sent out, or it has been sent out, I know.
Send out.
Good, yeah, so everyone's got that, so jump on and, you know, it'll be a very well done update. They do these at the MMA meeting in the winter, for all officials in government, and they do a nice job with it, so. And a lot of time for questions as well. We've got the wreath laying ceremony, which is always a nice one at the town common at the War Memorial, and that is on the 16th at 10 o'clock. We've been doing that really since it really got going in Massachusetts around 2008, 2009 every year. So rain or shine, and then we go up to
That's part of Reach Across America too, right?
Reach Across
Yeah,
America.
that's great.
Exactly.
Love it.
Yeah, Yep, it's really impressive if you go to a national cemetery and see all those wreaths laid out.
Yeah,
It's incredible, yep. And you were speaking of the IT update, Karen is gonna come in next week and talk a little bit about social media and everything IT, so we'll have that at the next meeting on the 18th.
Anything else?
It's actually, while I was listening to this, the respond in the social media. Can we collectively put some thoughts together, it's make sure the citizens. Or we can make a time, or just we can schedule something, and it's maybe one of us might be available. Certain time of the day, if the citizens, if they wanna come and have a discussion, or if they have some kind of ideas.
like open office hours.
Yeah, it's something like that, it's not just email like in person. It's to the select board.
I'm usually in here at least twice a week.
I mean, just, I think we should.
I
And then,
I
if
have
they have
no
any-
problem.
I mean,
Why don't
it's-
we do coffee with the select board, do it once a month, like the VFW, like Mr. Beasley does with the VFW.
I think it will be a great idea. I mean, just not too long, or just, maybe just schedule. Maybe like a 5-10 minute slots if the people they wanna come and express their, or just have an intro, I don't know, I'm just asking, it will be a good idea, or just
You could certainly do it. You could schedule for one meeting a month where at 6:30, if anyone has any questions or wants to come in and meet with the board, you're here anyway, or 6:15.
Yeah.
You could do 6:30 at first, and if it catches on, maybe people will pop in and stick around for the meeting.
Do any open meeting issues if everyone's around for that?
You probably would be open up to deliberation, so maybe you trade off and just have 2 members here and you could take turns. Because if you had 3 members and you
Yeah.
said to one of the members, well, why don't you think about this? And then you're
Right.
deliberating, so, yeah, it would be.
I think just to have a cordial conversation, not
Sure.
just an argument. I think, what I'm trying to say is, I think, that we should maybe give the citizens, because sometimes when you talk to them, they always said that, it's they wanna express their ideas or opinions, they wanna be heard. I'm not saying, if we can give them that 5-10 minutes, whatever that might be, it's not gonna interfere, or it's not gonna cause an argument. Obviously, we don't want to have an argument, but we wanna listen, and then we can take the notes, and we'll find the right answers, or we can work on it.
To that end, maybe, like you're saying, something like 6 or 6:30 on the first night, and then we schedule something separate. At the senior center, just at whatever time, as just our schedules allow us between the
Yeah.
4 of us. To be at both locations, maybe on even the same day.
Yeah, we could do, I would suggest doing one during the day. Only from the standpoint that a lot of the elderly are not gonna come out at night.
Yeah.
So they would come out more in the, maybe early afternoon, like from 1 to 2 or
And that
something.
could be part of the new business for the meeting
Yeah.
that night.
Yeah, I'll be happy to do that, or just.
Well, we
if you
don't.
wanna-
It would extend the meeting dramatically, but I think this board discusses it publicly and not in a forum similar to
Yeah.
people showing up and just using this.
Maybe like a
Some
midweek, like
discuss
maybe
before.
like, I don't know, it's like maybe Thursday morning-ish, Wednesday morning-ish. Like maybe 45 minutes, half an hour, whatever that might be,
I can just say I'm gonna be off, in 2 weeks, so I was actually planning on taking a little trip down, because I haven't. Since I've been elected, I get to really officially set foot in the senior center, so. If anybody wants to talk anything, I will be.
yeah, we'll take turns,
But,
just an idea. I can take that.
Maybe we could set it up one
Yeah.
week and then I hear times and stuff.
Yeah,
I can talk to Josie and find out, what works, and she can put it in the newsletter and put it on the website,
Yeah.
just compete with the select board members, and if 2 of you
Yeah.
can make it on
Yeah.
whatever time slot they have, where the people there, it'd be nice to do it the days that they're having their
Tuesday
luncheons.
morning.
Yeah, and an hour or 2 before one of their luncheons or something, so.
Yeah.
Josie could probably share.
They do coffee and talk.
well, that's what the mayor goes down in Marlboro for that, he'll go and sit and have coffee and talk with them.
I'll be happy to do Tuesday mornings, as I said, we can take turns too, whatever they might be, I'm just throwing out there.
Maybe just see what works for
Yeah.
seniors more than
Absolutely,
ourselves.
That's probably the best, because anybody can go there, doesn't just have to be.
Right.
perfect, thank you, just a thought.
I'll touch base with Josie tomorrow.
Yeah, see what she's up to.
Right. So we blew through my 45-minute estimate. And at this point, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second,
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none, four.
pass this down to Michael, please. Thank you, Michael.
Problem. I'll get you, actually, I got some nice neat cats there when we at work. Bring it up.